Legal aspects: defamation, spreading false information, and accountability. When a public figure like Yu Menglong dies under traumatic or ambiguous circumstances, the temptation for sensationalism and unfounded rumors is high, and the law has to respond, balancing freedom of expression with protection from harm. In China, the case of Yu Menglong offers a sharp illustration of how the legal system addresses defamation, fabrication of evidence or rumors, and the routes individuals or institutions have to seek remedies. At its heart, defamation involves publishing false statements about a person that harm their reputation. In the Chinese context, the criminal law provides for the offense of fabricating facts to slander others under Article 246 of the Criminal Law of the People's Republic of China, PRC. That article penalizes anyone who publicly insults another or fabricates facts to defame others. The 2013 judicial interpretation released by the top courts clarified thresholds for serious cases, e.g. defamation by networks that had more than 5,000 views or 500 forwards might qualify. In the Yu Menglong case, for example, reports emerged that 3 individuals had fabricated and disseminated false allegations about what happened to him, in one case claiming he was hung from a high-rise or disemboweled, entirely invented and broadcast for attention. The police arrested these individuals and opened investigations for spreading false information, disrupting social order. From the victim or the family's perspective, they may pursue remedies by reporting the conduct to the public security organs, seeking criminal prosecution for defamation, demanding removal or correction of false material, and possibly civil actions for compensation for harm to reputation, mental distress, or other losses. In the Chinese legal system, while civil defamation suits are available, in high-impact cases the criminal route is often used. The 2013 interpretation made clear that those who concoct or edit information that damages an individual's or organization's reputation and spread it through information network could face prison terms up to 3 years. Meanwhile, administrators of platforms or companies which are paid to delete posts or to publish false content can also face liability or arise to other offenses, for example, illegal business operations. Institutions such as the deceased estate, talent agency, or platform operators have responsibilities and rights. They can report false content, request corrections or takedowns, engage in public statements of clarification, and coordinate with authorities to seek sanctions. The law places obligations on network operators. Under Chinese law, when a network operator discovers prohibited information, which includes false information that disrupts public order, it must promptly stop transmission, delete it, keep records, and report to authorities. At the same time, the law recognizes and protects free speech, though the balance in China tilts more towards maintaining public order and protecting reputation. The interpretation emphasizes that only when the false information has gravely harmed social order or the national interest can a criminal defamation charge arise. A person who unknowingly forwards false information is not necessarily criminally liable if they lacked intention or recklessness. So, there is some symmetry of protection. The law does not aim to criminalize mere errors or good faith reporting, but rather deliberate fabrication or reckless dissemination of falsehoods that cause serious harm. In assessing how to balance free speech versus harm, the law deploys multiple criteria. 1. Did the speaker fabricate facts or knowingly alter them? 2. Was the information disseminated widely, view count/forwarding thresholds? 3. Did the conduct cause significant damage to reputation, mental health of victims, public order? 4. Was there intent or gross negligence? If the answer to these is affirmative, then liability can attach. Because the thresholds for views/repostings are set quite high, e.g., 5,000 views or 500 forwards in earlier guidance, some margin is afforded for freer expression. But in cases of viral rumor-mongering, the consequences escalate. As a practical roadmap for someone or an institution seeking remedy, they must gather evidence of the false statements, screenshots, timestamps, forwarding chains, Document the harm caused to reputation, mental health, family distress, business losses. Report the matter to the public security organ if it meets the criminal threshold, or bring a civil claim for defamation. Demand platform takedown or correction, and engage legal representation. On the platform side, operators should have monitoring, swift takedown, record-keeping, and reporting procedures to limit liability. For large-scale or highly visible cases like Menglong, public statements from family or agency confirming facts, cooperating with investigations, and publicly urging restraint can help mitigate further reputational or emotional damage. When tragedy strikes a beloved public figure, truth often becomes the first casualty. In the aftermath of Menglong's death, the internet exploded with half-truths, fabricated stories, and relentless speculation. Within hours, countless posts began circulating, some claiming conspiracy, others spinning elaborate fictions about the cause of his fall. It was a digital wildfire of misinformation, spreading across social media platforms faster than any official statement could catch up. The emotional chaos that followed was not just a cultural event, it was a legal battlefield. Behind the screens, law enforcement agencies were tracking IP addresses, collecting screenshots, and reconstructing timelines. For the first time in months, the Chinese cybercrime units were forced to draw a hard line between free expression and deliberate harm. Rumor-making is not a harmless pastime. Under Chinese law, those who fabricate facts to slander others can face criminal liability, a rule designed to protect reputations and social order in a world where one click can destroy a life. But Yu's case was more than a legal precedent. It was a story of how a family's grief collided with a society's addiction to sensationalism. When Menglong's death was announced, the family pleaded for privacy. But silence in the social media age is often mistaken for guilt. In the absence of verified facts, the crowd became the judge. Within hours, strangers were dissecting his last known messages, analyzing his career setbacks, and inventing narratives about suicide, betrayal, and cover-ups. The line between curiosity and cruelty vanished. Videos claiming to show the real cause of his death gained millions of views. One user even produced a mock documentary piecing together false evidence, a digital act that would later be investigated for defamation and spreading false information. The law's response was swift, but also symbolic. It wasn't only about punishing those 3 women detained for their false claims. It was about sending a warning. The internet is not a courtroom, and unverified words can carry the weight of a weapon. Behind the headlines, prosecutors faced a moral question. Where does the right to discuss a public tragedy end, and where does defamation begin? In China, where digital discourse is tightly monitored, this balance is delicate. Yet Yu's case forced the public to confront the fact that unrestricted rumor spreading can devastate families, derail investigations, and fuel collective hysteria. Defamation in the digital era is no longer a whisper, it's an echo chamber. Every share multiplies harm. For Yu's parents, every lie felt like a second loss. They weren't just mourning their son. They were defending his legacy from digital distortion. Imagine a mother scrolling through endless falsehoods about her son's death. Each rumor, each edited clip, each so-called exclusive update became a fresh wound. She eventually spoke publicly, her voice trembling yet determined, urging people to stop spreading false stories and let her child rest in peace. That moment humanized the legal jargon. Defamation, false information, and public order were no longer abstract terms. They were the vocabulary of grief. The law recognizes that kind of pain. In both civil and criminal contexts, emotional distress and damage to reputation can form the basis for claims. But beyond punishment, what this case revealed was the urgent need for digital empathy. When we type, share, or comment, we often forget there are real people on the other side. Mothers, siblings, friends, enduring invisible agony. And when social media platforms fail to act, they become silent accomplices. Supporters of online freedom argue that people should have the right to question official narratives. Skeptics counter that free speech ends where harm begins. The Menglong case captured this tension perfectly. Some netizens insisted that asking questions is not a crime, that public curiosity should never be silenced. But others saw how reckless speculation transformed into collective bullying. China's legal system tries to navigate this divide. Its 2013 judicial interpretation on online defamation sets clear thresholds. Viral falsehoods reaching thousands of views or shares can trigger criminal charges. Intent and damage are key. A careless repost might be forgiven, but a deliberate fabrication cannot. Still, it raises a universal question, not just for China, but for the world. How much freedom are we willing to risk in the name of truth, and how much harm are we willing to accept in the name of speech? Legal scholars often describe this as the dual duty of democracy, to protect expression, but also to preserve dignity. In Yu's case, the scale tipped toward protection from harm. His name became a test case for how societies handle the collision of digital rumor and personal tragedy. Legal accountability doesn't stop at individual offenders. Platforms, agencies, and influencers all play a role in shaping narratives. In the Menglong incident, social platforms were legally obligated to remove harmful content, preserve evidence for investigations, and prevent further spread. Failure to act could expose them to penalties under China's cybersecurity law. Meanwhile, entertainment agencies and PR teams were advised to issue transparent statements quickly to control misinformation before it metastasized. Experts note that the first 24 hours after a celebrity tragedy are crucial. Silence invites speculation, while clarity builds trust. The idea is not to censor curiosity, but to prevent chaos. By establishing verified communication channels and providing factual updates, institutions can reduce the emotional vacuum that rumors thrive on. At the same time, users themselves must evolve from passive consumers to responsible participants. In the digital court of public opinion, every share is a verdict, and every comment leaves a trace. The Menglong case teaches us that accountability is not just a legal principle. It's a collective responsibility. In the wake of this tragedy, policymakers began discussing reforms. Better digital literacy campaigns, stricter anti-rumor monitoring, and more robust privacy protections for families of deceased public figures. There's also growing advocacy for digital mourning spaces, protected zones where fans can grieve respectfully without feeding algorithms that reward sensationalism. Technology companies are exploring AI-based rumor detection, flagging posts that contain unverified claims or manipulative edits. Legal experts are proposing faster defamation trials, so victims don't have to endure years of emotional limbo. And perhaps most importantly, a cultural shift is underway, one that encourages compassion before commentary and verification before virality. Menglong's death and the legal storm that followed reveal a profound truth about our times. Information can heal or it can harm, depending on how we wield it. The same device that connects millions can also destroy reputations in seconds. Justice, in this context, isn't just about punishing rumor spreaders. It's about restoring the dignity of truth. It's about reminding society that behind every trending topic is a human life, and behind every legal article lies an emotional reality. If anything good emerges from Yu's story, it's this lesson. Words carry weight. The law can prosecute lies, but only empathy can prevent them. And until we learn to pause before we post, the cycle of rumor and regret will continue to claim victims, both online and off.